Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. This video I do the off-the-shelf tag. I was tagged in a video by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. Per Pat, the off-the-shelf tag. This tag was created by Mike at Bibliophile Reads. There are 21 questions for this tag. The first question is, when you're not filming or reading, what does a normal day in your life look like? Work, school, etc. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I'm retired, so work isn't part of my life anymore. I often don't sleep well, suffer from insomnia, so sometimes I try to just get myself to sleep even if I'm laying in bed for an hour or two. But the majority of the time, when I realize I'm not going back to sleep quickly, I sit up. I either get my e-reader and read an e-book, or get a physical book and read that. Read for like an hour or so before putting it aside, trying to go back to sleep, which I most of the time do go back to sleep, although even then it takes some time. When I get up, first thing I do is I go on Discord. There are 4 Discords that I am a member of, and I just go through them. 3 of them I post messages saying happy Monday, happy Tuesday, etc. Don't say good morning because people live in different time zones. And I get caught up on all the things people have said on the Discords. I forgot to mention too that when I get up I take my morning med. I take a thyroid medication. I have to wait a half hour before I eat something. So after I go through the Discords, I may go through some email or something else like that. Then I'll eat my breakfast. A couple days a week I eat a breakfast out. The other times I eat at home. And then it varies from day to day. I go out to eat a fair amount. Like I said, a couple times breakfast, but other times I go to the local mall, generally once a week, and walk. Then when I come home, sometimes I may do some work on videos before going out. Sometimes after I get home. I do my best work, say, before 3 o'clock, then I kind of mentally decline. But after I get done working the videos, if I do, play a video game I'm playing, I watch some YouTube videos, mostly booktube videos, some others too. I crochet. And in the evening, I do some reading. If there may be a sporting event or something like that I watch, but even then I will read during the commercials. I'm kind of set in my ways, so I do, Monday is this, Tuesday is this, Wednesday is this, so on and so forth. I could go through that, but basically my days generally revolve around what I said. The second prompt is, what kind of work do you do? And does it change how you read or what you notice in stories? Well, as I said, I'm retired. My degree is in electrical engineering. I had some engineering jobs. My biggest job that I did, my biggest career, was I spent 25 years as a technical writer, writing repair documentation for aircraft parts. As far as how that affected me in my reading, a little bit it affected it, I suppose, that as I was a writer, a different type than a novelist, but grammar and spelling and such things, conveying things to the reader are important. So maybe it made me notice things a little more, grammatical errors and whatever, but I try not to focus on that. The third prompt is, are you a morning person or a night owl? When I was working during the latter part of my career, I would get up really early. One, I wanted to get to my job at 6 because where I live, Connecticut, the rush hour can get kind of nasty. And also, there's a period of time I was the main caregiver for my mother, so I had to get up early to take care of her. So I was getting up. When I was taking care of my mother, I was getting up maybe 20 after 4. After she went into a nursing home and then passed away, I was maybe 20 of 5, but I got up really early. So because of that, I'd go to bed early. But since I retired, I didn't want to get up, 4:45. That was kind of too early. So I mostly don't set an alarm. I get up 7:30, around then. And I go to bed. When I was working, I'd go to bed maybe 9:30. Now I go to bed, 10:30, 11. So I think actually I'm able to be both a morning person and a night owl, but I think if I had to choose, I'd say a morning person, simply because my energy is good in the morning into the early afternoon, then it flags. And that hasn't changed really, even though I shifted my time. The fourth question is, do you recharge by being alone or talking to people? I recharge by being alone. I have kind of a limit, like my energy will start to flag talking to a person, even if I'm just listening to them, say an hour, half, 2 hours in, and it kind of goes off a cliff. I'm very comfortable being by myself, doing things by myself, perhaps too comfortable. So I'm a textbook introvert. I need to spend time by myself to recharge. Which is not to say I don't like spending time with people, it's just the time I spend by myself is way more than the time I spend with people. I don't need a lot of people time. The fifth prompt is, what drains you more, too much socializing or too much isolation? As I said in the previous question, too much socializing is way more draining. I entertain myself. I could be isolated a lot. Just, little interactions I do when I go to restaurants with the waitresses and stuff. I become friends with some of them. That's fine. I go out to eat once a week with a friend of mine. Live with my sister, so we talk some. She's more of a talker than me, so it's more listening for me, but that is enough for me. The sixth question is, what's something that you enjoy that has nothing to do with reading? I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy crocheting. I enjoy, I have to say non-booktube videos, because booktube videos have to do with reading. And although I do enjoy them, although I do concentrate mostly on booktube videos. Watching some sports. Going to the local mall. Going for a nice walk on a nice day. Those are some of the things. Having a nice meal. Seventh question is, do you like planning things ahead of time or figuring things out as you go? I'm very much a planner. Too much of one, really, because I frequently plan for things that don't occur to prepare myself. It's something that I do less as I've got older, but not because I've tried to cut back on it. I just think your emotions kind of even out as you get older. But I'm almost too much of a planner. I wouldn't want to be really spontaneous, but it might be a little better if I didn't plan for things that most likely don't occur. It is useful, though, when you have to do things that are necessary. That attention to detail and the ability to look at options and stuff like that. So there is a positive to it. The eighth question is, do you like working alone or alongside others? I was a good team player, but a team player that you could meet regularly, but overall I like working by myself. So if there was a group working on something and I could work on my portion, that'd be great. But if I would have to spend lots and lots of time with other people, that would be difficult for me as an introvert. As I described above, would get enervated by it. So I guess if I had to have one answer, I'd say working alone. The ninth question is, are you more sentimental or practical? I have both qualities, but that's probably true of everybody. I think if I had to pick one, though, it would be practical. I think I have an engineering degree, and that's a problem-solving thing. So I would say I'm more practical than sentimental. The 10th question is, what kind of pace do you prefer in life? Busy, steady, or slow? I would say steady. Wouldn't like to be busy because that could be anxiety producing, but slow would be boring. So I would say steady would be the pace I prefer. The 11th question is, what's a simple task you strangely enjoy doing? In the video games I've enjoyed recently, cozy or cozy adjacent games, there's things like planting, watering, harvesting crops, fishing, finding, foraging, things like that you have to do every game. Finding minerals, things like that, chopping down trees. And I have a high tolerance for those things. I have a high tolerance for the repeatability of those things. Maybe this question is asking that exactly because that's talking about in a video game, but those things in a video game I kind of enjoy the repeatability of them. They can get tedious eventually, but I enjoy the repeatability. The 12th question is, are you naturally early, on time, or late? Naturally early. When I have an appointment, was with work, this was now when I have a medical appointment, whatever, I time things so I arrive a fair amount early. Then what I'll do is I'll sit in my car, and when it's coming close to time appointment, I'll time my walking in so I'll get there just a little bit before the appointment time. One of the jobs I had recently, I did the same thing, and I later learned that people bet on me the time I would get there, so I was known for being somebody that would arrive pretty precisely. The 13th question is, what motivates you more, curiosity or responsibility? I would say responsibility. When there's something that I'm responsible for, I feel a need to get it done. I'm fortunate that although I do have some curiosity, I suppose we all do, if there's something that I can't learn about, it doesn't really bother me too much. So I would say responsibility motivates me more. The 14th question is, what do you tend to overthink? What helps you feel grounded? Well, as I said earlier, I overthink a lot of things. I plan for eventualities that don't usually happen. Bad things happen, but they're not usually the things I plan for. The second part of this, what makes you feel grounded? Nothing really comes to mind for this one. The 15th question is, what's something you always notice when entering a room? If it's a room like say going to a restaurant or something like that, or a theater, I notice where people are because I tend to want to put as much space as possible between me and other people. So I always notice where the position of people. This is people I generally don't know. Other than that, I really can't think of anything. The 16th question is, what kind of humor do you naturally use? I'm a pretty serious person, so I don't often use humor. And because I'm so serious, when I do, and my humor tends to be dry when I do use it, sometimes people take me seriously. The extent that I've felt guilty about things that I thought I was saying something was obviously people would know I was joking and they took it seriously. Humor isn't my natural thing. Of course, everybody has their times, but My humor tends to be dry and I don't use it too much, as I said. 17 questions, do you usually multitask or single task? Single task, I'm not a good multitasker at all. When people talk about listening to audiobooks, they often do it while they're driving, while they're doing their chores. I can't do that. I listen to audiobooks just when I'm sitting, same way as I would if I was reading a physical book or an ebook. There's a couple times I met up with an old friend of mine at a basketball game, and we sat together, and he was talking, and when he was talking, I could not concentrate in the game because I concentrated on what he was saying. So I wasn't really following the game at all. I just have to focus on one thing. The 18th question is, what's your default reaction to free time? Plan or relax? Well, as I said earlier to one of these questions, my free time, I kind of have things I do. I'm a structured person, so I mostly don't need to plan. I already know the things I'm generally going to do. I do want to, though, spend a little bit of time, have a little more breaks from what I do, because although I enjoy what I'm doing, I tend to go from one thing to the next without breaks. So I do want to take a little more breaks in my time to relax. Just not feel that I have to keep always busy. The 19th question is, are you comfortable with silence around other people? Yes, I am. When it's a person I don't know, especially, I don't really like that much person who's very chatty, just has to fill in all the spaces. Not too long ago, I had the need to take a few Uber trips because my car was in the garage for a long time, and I was happy that the drivers weren't chatty. They just picked me up, said a thing or two, took me home or wherever I was going. I guess I'm fine with people who are a little chatty, but sometimes they get overly chatty, and sometimes people you don't really know start revealing all kinds of things and overly familiar, and I don't like that. The 20th question is, do you usually remember conversations or impressions? I would say I more remember impressions than conversations. I can remember what was talked about. I guess this really depends on what was said. I can remember the general type of the conversation if it was something I was really passionate about. But also, it might just be the impression of the conversation. So I guess for me, it kind of depends. I can't come up with a definitive answer for this one. The 21st question, actually not a question, but 21st is tag others. First, I'm going to tag anyone watching this video. I'm also going to tag a bunch of people in the description of the video. Just if you'd like to answer one or more of the questions in my comments or do a video of your own, please do so. If you can't think of anything else to comment, please add an emoji. I'll let you choose one of your choice. Nothing really comes to mind with this group of questions. Hope you're having a wonderful reading week. I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.